Hello, we are live. This is Griff, and I'm in Humboldt Redwood State Park on a super smoky day, and that's what I'm on here to talk to you guys about. And let me make sure that I can see your comments as you guys come on. I'm going to give you guys a couple seconds to come on here. So what a very, very peculiar time we live in, right? California is on fire. If you're not in California, then you've probably seen about us on the news. But right now, if you look up into the sky, that's all smoke, and it's actually raining ash once you get out of the trees. I'm in the trees in Gould Grove, right across the street from the visitor center on Avenue of the Giants, and it's been very smoky here the last couple days, and you can probably see some ash going in front of me. Up in sections of the park have been under temporary evacuation orders, and all of our campgrounds are closed, and all of our day use areas are closed. And so this is California Biodiversity Week, and we are in a competition with Prairie Creek, and we're gonna have to hope that our huge lead, we have like a 300 observation lead, we're gonna hope that holds for the rest of the week. And I'm still gonna be out here, and I'm gonna contribute more, and some other employees until it gets too dangerous. Right now, we're still pretty far away from the fire, so it's not too dangerous, but we are not letting folks into the day use areas or the campgrounds, and roads into the park open back up because they're closed down south, and they may be closing up north. So I just want to take this opportunity to just go over fires a little bit. For those of you who don't know, before I came to state parks, only back in January of 2020, I was a trail builder, ecological restorationist, and firefighter for several different organizations, mostly the California Conservation Corps, but also Forest Service and the Nature Conservancy, blah, 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 and Wildlife Conservation Society, and some other groups where I did, biological surveys, and then some of them I did fires for Forest Service. So I have some familiarity with land use management, but I'm not an expert. But I will tell you this. A lot of times when we hear about the causes of fires, we come up with simple solutions. And I just want you guys to know that the fire problem that California, the devastating, terrible fires that our firefighters are fighting, that's hard to say, the causes for them are complex. It's not simple. It's not just like someone had a gender reveal party and it's terrible. The conditions for a fire are there. So there's going to be lots of different catalysts. It could be someone dragging chains on the freeway, sends a spark. It could be someone throwing a cigarette. It could be a lightning strike. The conditions for fire are there, and it has a lot of different modes that can start it. Now, the reason why that is because when California was invaded and colonized by my ancestors, Europeans, they found this landscape with trees far apart. You could go from the Sierras all the way to the valley side by side on a horse, and because the trees were spaced far apart, and it was just beautiful. It looked like a park. And what that was the Native Americans using fire, frequent fires, and also a lot more grazing animals that graze differently than cows do. So a lot more elk and antelope. So the combination of those things, and the fires brought grassland, which brought herbivores, and there was this wonderful balance. When we got here, no one bothered to ask the indigenous people why they were managing the land the way they were. Like, that didn't happen. They were just displaced and murdered, and we lost a lot of information. And so now we're learning the hard way through these devastating and killing fires that the way to manage a landscape in California is to use fire. There's actually more trees in California right now than there ever was before, and they're growing closer together. So when a fire starts, it burns really, really hot. It gets into the tops of the fires. It's called a crown fire, and it burns everything to the ground. It kills everything. 200 years ago, if you were a snake or a salamander, you can get underneath of a rock or go down underground 3 inches in a hole, gopher hole or something, and you could survive a fire passing over you. Now they burn like infernos, and they kill everything in the top foot of the soil. They bake everything. So fires got much worse, and it's because of bad land management. It's because of the removal of indigenous fires. It's because of we've clear cut and logged, and then we just let everything grow up really thick. It's because of the removal of native herbivores, and because of overgrazing of native grasslands, and then the non-native European grasses that are much more likely to burn came in. There's a lot of issues regarding fire. Not to mention the last 12 years have been hotter and drier than the previous couple hundred. And scientists say that's because of climate change. And climate change isn't like a belief. It's not something you have to have faith in. It's measurable. We know that the summers are longer and hotter and drier. We know that. We like thermometers, like this basic, the basic scientific instrument. But we know, and whether or not you believe it's because of our release of fossil fuels, like carbon being turned from its solid form into its gas form, and you know, that's also measurable. There's more carbon in the atmosphere than there ever has been, and so we're going to have we're reaping the effects of. So my gimbal is just deciding to trip out here. We're reaping the. I'm just going to take it out. We're reaping the effects of our bad management practices, and so and now our homes are burning, and now wildlife is dying, and a lot of these forests are burning to the ground instead of it being low ground fires like happening historically. Things are burning to the ground. So it's a very complex issue, and it's easy for people to be like, we just need to rake the forest, or you know. But the problem is, if a billion of us raked the forest every day for 10 years, we still wouldn't get all the forests raked. We need to reintroduce fires. We need to thin forests out that are dog hair thickets that came back after clear cuts, and then we need to reintroduce fire, and we need to listen to science and the people with experience, and really get to a place where we are managing the land for lots of different reasons besides just, you know, one or two reasons like logging or whatever. So that is just like kind of a little bit of rambling on my part. I'm sorry, but you can look up this information. Bay Nature just had an article that came out today about indigenous fires. There's a lot of articles coming out about that. We should get educated, especially you Californians, so you can see that this is not just about lightnings and gender reveal parties. This is about, you know, hundreds of years post-colonial land management practices and a changing climate. And this has been the new norm. I've been a firefighter for years, and in the 90s, I went on very few fires. And the last couple years that I was fighting fires, we were on fires all summer. There's more fires. You can look up CAL FIRE's information and see how the fires in the West have risen dramatically at the same time that the warming temperatures have. So I hope all you are safe, and thank you again, firefighters. You guys are heroes, and you deserve every cent you're getting, and you should get paid more risking your life for us, and we really appreciate it. For those of you who want to come to the park, I'm sorry to tell you the day use areas are closed, the campgrounds are closed, and we are very, very smoky. It's raining ash if you can see it, and we will open up as soon as it's safe to do so. Please stay safe. Please stay home. Don't come to the park. It's not a safe place to be, to travel to right now from the south especially. All right, let me look at your comments here. Oh, thank you, Patty. Never rambling teaching. All right. Hello, Lori, Tanya, Naberto, Michael, Brian. Thank you, Brian. I will keep doing some bio blitzing because we're so far ahead, and I just want us to win the bio blitz, and for our Biodiversity Week competition. I'll see you guys all later.